The man in the parking lot. It was the kind of cold that didn't make sense. Marcus zipped up his hoodie as he stepped out of the janitor's closet, letting the metal door slam behind him. Clean sweep was done for the night. The smell of bleach still clung to his fingers. His shift had ended, but something deeper in him felt like it never did. Not work. Wait. The strip mall was silent now. Even the lights inside the vape shop were off, and that place never closed. He rubbed his eyes. No music tonight. His phone was dead. No car alarm to flash at. His fob hadn't worked in weeks. Just the sound of his boots scraping the pavement and the echo of the world holding its breath. The back lot behind the building stretched out in shadows. The only working light buzzed overhead like it was dying. And maybe it was. It flickered in and out, casting short bursts of clarity that only made the dark feel darker. He walked his normal path, past the old Mexican place, down the alley near the busted fence, then cut across to where his car waited like a faithful dog under a dead light pole. That's when he saw him. A man, still, standing right by his car. Head down, hood up, not moving. Marcus slowed, not because he wanted to, but because his body just did. Instinct. Maybe even his spirit, though he hadn't trusted that in a while. He blinked, still not moving. Hands in the hoodie pocket, feet planted wide, almost like he was expecting something. Marcus cleared his throat. Just a guy, probably someone waiting for a ride. He kept walking, but the air changed. It got heavier, like walking into a pool, like gravity got greedy. 15 feet out, the man lifted his head. Marcus froze. No face, not hidden, just gone. What he saw wasn't blank. It was worse. It was absence. Like something took an eraser to reality. Marcus's stomach dropped. Then the man spoke, not with his mouth. Not out loud. In Marcus's mind. You came back. The voice wasn't harsh, it was familiar, like it had been there before. We knew you would. Marcus stumbled back, his breath quickened. This had to be a dream, or maybe a flashback. There'd been nights, dark ones, years ago, nights filled with candles, pentagrams etched in notebooks, dumb rituals in basements, and a girl named Kiara who claimed she could talk to the dead. He thought he left that behind, buried it, but sin doesn't bury itself. It waits. The man stepped forward, one slow, deliberate step. Marcus backed up. Tried to pull his keys from his pocket, but his fingers were numb. The man stopped, tilted his head. You called him once, but we were here before him. You opened the door, and we never left. That's when the memories hit. The shadow in the room when he was 13. The voice that told him to push his cousin down the stairs. The dream he kept having of hands wrapping around his throat. Not choking, just claiming. He thought those were just night terrors. He thought that baptism washed it all away, but you can't wash off what you never renounced. He finally got the keys out, fumbled with the button, clicked. Nothing, no beep, no lights, no unlock. The man took another step. That's when Marcus saw them. Figures. Behind him. 10, no, 12, or more. It was hard to count when they didn't move like people. They didn't walk, they flowed. Shadow wrapped in darkness, watching, smiling, but not with mouths. You remember us. We never let go. Marcus couldn't move, not frozen, anchored. His soul was being pulled down like it was tied to something ancient. His lips trembled. Jesus. It came out like a whisper.
A question, not a weapon.
The man in the hoodie laughed, but it wasn't sound, it was feeling. Mocking. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a book. It looked like a Bible. Same leather wrap. Same gold-rimmed pages. But when he opened it, the pages bled. They bled words. Marcus saw them before he read them. Every lie, every lust, every secret vow he thought was private, written, dripping, alive. The man began to read, July 18th, 2016. You said, I don't care what it costs, I just want peace. You made a trade. And peace came, but not from above, from below. Marcus dropped to his knees. The weight was too much now. The air pressed down on his chest like hands.
October 3rd, 2018. You said, God's not real. You opened a door.
The spirits behind the man began to move, swaying, dancing, not wild, almost rhythmic. A ritual. Marcus shook his head. I didn't mean it. I was angry. I didn't know.
The man closed the book,
Stepped forward.
Intent doesn't cancel contract.
Marcus screamed, but no sound came out.
That's when he heard her voice.
His grandmother. Gone now, buried 3 years.
But the voice, clear.
Call him, not with your mouth, with your soul. Don't beg, declare.
He clenched his fists.
Tears rolled down his cheeks. The man reached toward him, one long, pale hand. Black nails. No veins. Just shadow, pretending to be skin.
Marcus took one breath.
Then another. Then he shouted from the bottom of his lungs, from the deepest place in him. Jesus! I belong to you. I renounce every agreement. I break every curse. I call on the blood. The sound cracked the silence. It wasn't volume. It was authority. The figures behind the man screamed. Some vanished instantly. Others exploded into ash. The man stepped back.
His book burst into flames. Not from fire, but light.
Marcus stood. His legs worked now. He didn't run. He stared. Right at the man,
who was now trembling.
He backed up.
Once, twice, then vanished into shadow.
Gone. Everything gone. And the wind returned. This time it wasn't warning. It was peace. Marcus dropped to the pavement, not in fear, but in freedom. Marcus couldn't stop shaking. He sat on the cracked pavement, knees drawn up to his chest, arms trembling like they hadn't gotten the memo that the danger was gone. But it wasn't just adrenaline. Something inside him had broken, or maybe burst, like a dam in his spirit that had been holding back a flood for years. Tears streamed freely now, not out of fear, but out of something he hadn't felt in years, relief. Not because the man vanished, not because the shadows were gone, but because God showed up. He hadn't come with fire. He hadn't come with thunder. He came with authority. And Marcus felt it, not just around him, but in him. A silence settled over the lot. But it wasn't the kind of silence from earlier, the haunted, oppressive one. This was different. This silence was holy. It hummed, it watched, and then it spoke. But not in words, in presence. Marcus lifted his face. He didn't see anyone, but he didn't have to. He knew Jesus was there. He couldn't explain how he knew, but every part of him agreed with it. His lungs,
his skin,
his bones.
Something ancient and eternal stood only feet away, invisible to the eye but undeniable to the spirit.
and Marcus could feel something like heat, like light, radiating toward him. He tried to speak, but his voice cracked. So he whispered, "Why me?" The answer wasn't words, it was truth. It wrapped around him like arms, not warm or fuzzy, pure. He heard it in his chest.
Because I never stopped waiting. Marcus's lips trembled again.
I messed up. Bad. I know. I made deals. I opened things. I know. I don't deserve.
You're right.
The answer stunned him. Silence.
But then came the rest. But I didn't come because you deserve me. I came because I claimed you. And what I claim, I redeem.
Marcus began to cry harder. This was different than any encounter he had before. No worship band, no preacher, no emotions whipped up by a crowd, just him, the lot, and the one who broke the chains. Then something happened. His mind opened. Like a veil was lifted, he saw things, not with eyes, with spirit. He saw the night he made the deal with the spirit of suicide at age 16. Saw the shadow that stood at the foot of his bed for 3 weeks after. Saw the bitterness he nursed after his dad walked out. Saw the hatred he swallowed like candy. The fake peace. The false calm. And more than that. He saw the moment Jesus stepped in.
In each one of those scenes, he was there.
Not standing, not forcing, waiting, not far but just outside the door, because love doesn't barge in. It knocks, and that night, Marcus finally answered. He felt something shift in the lot again.
Like heaven leaned closer. And then he saw them.
Angels.
3 of them.
He couldn't explain what they looked like because it wasn't about what he saw. It was about what he felt. One radiated fire, not flames but justice. Another carried what looked like scrolls, but Marcus knew, somehow, they were verdicts. The third, he was huge, still, but alert.
Like a warrior that had just ended a fight but was waiting for the next.
And all of them looked at Marcus. Not with judgment, with recognition, like they'd been assigned to him all along. The one with the scrolls stepped forward, or more accurately, appeared closer without moving. He unrolled a scroll. Marcus watched. And as the scroll opened, it was blank. Clean. The angel looked at him. The record has been erased. Marcus fell forward onto his hands, weeping. He knew what that meant. He knew what that cost. Not gold, not church attendance.
Blood.
Then he heard it again.
That voice. Jesus.
Not booming, not quiet, just undeniable.
Now walk in it. Not the fear, not the shame. Walk in the freedom I paid for. Let no one write on your soul again.
Marcus sat back on his heels, tears still dripping off his chin. The warrior angel stepped closer and knelt. A flaming sword appeared in his hand. He pressed it into the ground in front of Marcus. Marcus looked up, confused. The angel spoke. His voice was thunder without noise. This ground is marked. This lot is now a place of testimony. Any demon who tries to return will taste judgment. This ground has been touched by the Lord.
Marcus nodded slowly. He wasn't even sure how much he understood.
but he felt the weight of it. He stood up, finally, for real. His legs wobbled, but they held. The angels were gone. The presence remained, but faded into peace. The wind was back, light this time. It lifted his hoodie a little and brushed the sweat off his neck. He looked at his car. It was unlocked. The lights flashed twice, as if confirming, all clear. He opened the door, sat inside. Silence again. But this time, silence wasn't scary. It was safe. He gripped the steering wheel.
Jesus, he said again.
This time, not a shout, a whisper, but filled with power. Then he smiled, just a little, because for the first time in years he wasn't afraid to drive home. He wasn't afraid to sleep, because the shadows had lost their voice, and he had found his. Marcus drove in silence, the kind that didn't scream at him anymore. No voices, no whispers, no shadows clinging to the rearview mirror, just headlights cutting through the night like swords. He didn't turn on music, didn't need to. Something inside him was singing already.
Not with melody, but with freedom.
The tires rolled over pavement like he was crossing into something new. And in a way, he was. He pulled into his driveway, didn't rush to the door, didn't even flinch at the dark corner near the garage that used to make him nervous. He unlocked the front door, stepped inside, and exhaled. The house felt different. Not because he changed the locks, because he changed the access. His mum was sleeping in the back room. She didn't know what happened tonight, didn't know the son she prayed for had finally come back home in the spirit. Didn't know the demons she had warred with for years had been dealt with in the parking lot of a rundown strip mall. Marcus walked past her room quietly, kissed the edge of the doorframe like he used to when he was 7, then went into his own room, sat on the bed, and cried again. But this time, not because he was afraid, because he remembered all the nights he should have died, the time he took those pills and passed out on the kitchen floor, the night he stood on the bridge with one foot over the rail, the girl he followed into witchcraft out of loneliness, the night he mocked the name of Jesus to look cool in a club full of strangers.
Every moment he cursed God.
God kept loving.
That's the part that broke him, not the hell he escaped.
The grace he couldn't outrun. Marcus stood,
Went to his closet, dug past shoes, clothes, dust,
pulled out a box, black, wooden, heavy. He hadn't opened it in years, but it still had weight, spiritual weight. He placed it on the bed, opened it slowly. Inside, a tarot deck he told himself he didn't believe in, crystals a girl gave him that helped with sleep, a necklace with a pendant that always made his chest feel warm but his dreams feel. Dark asterisk, a journal, filled with spells. He stared at it, not with curiosity, with resolve. One by one he dumped the items into a trash bag, carried it out back, lit a match, watched it burn, watched smoke curl into the sky like incense, but this time not to summon, to release,
to declare.
No more access, no more open doors. This house belongs to the king. The next morning, Marcus did something he hadn't done in years. He got up before his alarm, made coffee, and opened his Bible, not because someone told him to,
Because he wanted to hear the voice that silenced the others.
Every verse felt like fire, not burning him, refining him. He read through Psalm 91 like it was written for his night. And maybe it was. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. You will not fear the terror of night. No harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. He read it again, and then he prayed. Not fancy, not loud, just real. I'm yours now, God, fully. I don't want to ever go back. Teach me how to fight, how to walk, how to never open those doors again. Use me. If you saved me, then let others know you can save them too.
Later that week, he sat with his mum at the kitchen table.
He told her everything. The man, the spirits, the book, the fire. She didn't flinch. She just smiled, tears in her eyes, and said, I knew he wasn't done with you. She reached under the table and pulled out a piece of paper. Folded, yellowed, torn at the edges. Marcus opened it. A prayer, written in her handwriting. Lord, break every chain off my son. Block every demon he entertains. Send your angels to war for his soul, and let me live long enough to see him return.
It was dated 3 years ago.
Marcus held the paper to his chest. She had warred while he wandered, and Jesus heard every word. 2 weeks passed. Then one night, Marcus was walking past that same strip mall. Not because he had a shift, but because he needed to see it. He parked in the back lot, got out, stood in the exact spot. Nothing felt haunted, no cold, no pressure, no whisper, just peace. He closed his eyes and heard a whisper. This is holy ground now. He smiled. But then, footsteps. Behind him, he turned, a teenager, skinny, hood up, same posture Marcus used to have. The kid looked at him, surprised.
Hey, you good? Marcus nodded. Yeah, just remembering something.
The boy looked nervous. I was just cutting through. Marcus stared at him.
Saw the fear in his eyes.
The kind of fear that comes from being followed by shadows no one else sees. He stepped closer. You believe in God?
The kid shrugged. I mean, I used to. Marcus smiled. Yeah, me too. He paused, then said, let me tell you a story.
And that's how the next chapter began. You listening right now? You're not just hearing a story, you're being given a lifeline. This isn't about Marcus, this is about you.
What's in your closet? What have you tolerated? What did you entertain and never close?
The spirits you flirt with become strongholds you can't fight alone. But here's the truth. Jesus is stronger than every spirit that's ever tried to claim you, and he's not waiting to punish you.
He's waiting to redeem you.
You don't have to burn incense. You don't need sage. You don't need crystals.
You don't need positive vibes.
You need deliverance. And deliverance doesn't come through mantras. It comes through the name that breaks chains. Jesus. Call on him like your life depends on it, because it does. This is spoken fire, where stories become swords, where demons get exposed, where Jesus gets the last word.
And the next story?
It might be yours. Fire.